now listening to another episode of Streets to Success podcast with Frank, Jalil. We got some special guests here today. If you want to introduce yourself.
Kashif, a.k.a. Modern Language, Mr. Relentless, but today I'm Kashif.
And
Hi, I'm Ben Lerner. I am a retired common pleas court judge and former Philadelphia chief public defender.
thanks for thanks for coming today. This is a unique situation, right? So we usually have one guest on, and it's one story. But this is we got two stories here. So I don't even know how we're going to tackle this. How do you plan on doing this interview, Lo?
I don't know. Well, they're both from the same neighborhood, so
Okay.
that makes it less complicated as far as where they grew up at and stuff like that. So
How did it get brought to you to have them come on?
from she.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you reached out.
Yeah. So really, I was just shopping, like trying to figure out, because I got to a point where I felt like the story needed to be told.
Okay.
And I was looking for like a platform to really like let it be known more. So I was just doing my research. The name Streets to Success.
Okay.
So how was it? Typically, that's how we start when it's just one guest. We start off from like where you from, what you've been through in life, to all the way up to where you are now. So I guess we could start off with you and just ask you like, where you from? How was it for you growing up in the city and eventually led up to where you are now?
So really, I was probably people would say I'm originally from West, but you know how it go when you're from the streets is where you came off the porch at. So I moved from West to
West Philadelphia.
West
because
Philadelphia.
This is gonna be global soon,
Yeah.
so people have some understanding.
Yeah. First, I'm from Philadelphia, but you know I was living down West, probably like around the age of 7. I moved up to like Feltonville area. My mom moved us up there.
Okay.
That's like the early 90s though. So I moved up there around that time. And from Feltonville, like, you know, it was a struggle. So I got a chance to move everywhere in the city. You know how it is. My mom was a mover, so moved around. And we just kept ending up back there. No matter where we moved, it was just back there. Like now I'm there now. Got born, raised in Feltonville, went to all the schools in that area.
Single mom?
Single mom.
Okay.
My pop, he was in and out of prison, so he'd be there and then he won't. 2 sisters, 1 brother growing up. I had 2 brothers. One passed away in the 90s from sleep apnea.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I was about 4 though, so I kind of barely remembering, but yeah, he died from sleep apnea.
Okay. And how was your childhood growing up in Felton? What did you say, Feltonville?
Yeah, like when I first moved up there, it was real diverse. So it was like all different cultures. Like for the most part, white people, Jamaican, Asian, like it was just everybody. And it wasn't really like, you know, it was up to you because a lot of people try to say it's your environment, but I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I grew up in a house with sisters and brothers. Ain't none of them go down the path I went.
Yeah.
You feel me? Same household. So, yeah, it just was probably me or some of the things I seen that really brought me towards the street. Like nowadays, most of the kids I see is more so lack of attention. But for us, it was like money. We was broke. You open the refrigerator, ain't nothing there. So that's what really led me to the street trying to get some money.
How old were you when you started getting into the streets?
So I always been known as a hustler. Like young. It started like gas station. Probably like 6 years old gas station. Then supermarkets. Got so crafty. I used to knock on doors and ask people to sing Christmas carols and don't even know the words. You feel me? Like it was so many hustles, but then the money wasn't enough, and then you start seeing stuff. He like, I open my refrigerator, ain't nothing there, but this boy just walking on the street with a chain on. Like, how you get that money? And then, they go from that. Well, I just sold this bag to this person and I made $30.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to sell 100 bags to that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then from there, you know how it go. It really do go up, escalate. Like, you start doing one thing. Like I started the thing I started doing breaking the law was probably retail theft, and I ended up doing time for homicide. So it
You went from the
escalated.
bottom all to the.
Spiraled out of control.
All right, so that's how you got into crime. How did you get into law? How did
Well,
that
I
come
grew
about?
up in a Feltonville that was about 1,000,000% different than the one that
He grew up.
Kashif grew up in. I grew up in the 1940s, 50s, and early 60s in a neighborhood that was all family, very much intact family. It was very rare to find a one-parent family there. All white, religiously diverse, but not racially diverse. A neighborhood where kids played on the street, played in the recreation center nearby, played down at the park. You could be out anywhere and reasonably safe. I can only remember having one problem in my neighborhood when I was growing up, and it was rare enough so that everybody took notice of it. I had two brothers. One is gone now, died of cancer 14 years ago. We were very close. We were less than a year apart. We went to the neighborhood school, Clara Barton on Wyoming Avenue. We played basketball in the winter and baseball in the summer at the recreation center at B in Wyoming. Went to the library. It was just a very, very kind of standard upbringing. Most of the families where fathers working at a variety of blue collar, white collar, a couple of professional people, but mostly white collar and blue collar. Sometime two jobs. My dad usually had two jobs, and mom staying home and raising families. My brother and I started off college at Penn, but I transferred to a school up in the Boston area, finished up there. And because of a quirk then in Philadelphia's high school graduation, by the time we were out of college, we were actually in the same year. So we went all through law school together.
Did you always know you wanted to get into law, like growing up?
I did not. We didn't have any lawyers or other professional people in our family.
How did that profession come about? What made you?
Well, I think there was this feeling that, young Jewish kids were supposed to grow up and be professionals. I couldn't stand blood, anybody else's or mine. I knew I wasn't going to be a doctor. So law seemed to be the next thing. And when I was in high school, I was in this organization, and we had all the chapters in the organization had adult sponsors, and our adult sponsor was a lawyer. And I wound up doing some work in his office for him when I was in high school. And I thought, could be interesting work. And there's no blood, there's no chemistry, there's no physics, there's nothing I might not be able to figure out. So we went to law school, my brother and I. We went to law school together. And
Scholarship, or did family help?
I had a scholarship. He had some loans. The family helped. Obviously, but it was a lot easier. They would not, I think, have been able to be. We also had a younger brother who was starting college when we were starting law school. So they would not have been able to manage 3 tuitions
Yeah.
any way, shape, or form, even though tuitions were much, much lower in those days. So my path after law school was into public service and the criminal justice system. I worked in the defender's office. I worked for a couple of years the state attorney general's office, and then I was appointed chief public defender in Philly in 1975. I did that for several years, and after a few years in private practice, I got appointed to the bench. And after I figured out how to run an election, I knew I was going to stay for a while. And the job I had brought me into contact with Kashif for the first time in a way that you'd rather not be brought into contact with anybody. I was on the bench and he was in front of the bench, and he was charged with a pretty serious crime.
Yeah.
So, do you want to? You said your chief. You said your crime started to develop, right? What was your first stints looking like in was it juvenile, then county, or did you go right
It
there?
was juvenile. So the first one I got, I was with a couple people, and we got caught stealing out of Walmart. But we stole like a box of money, and they caught us right outside.
What aisle's the box of money in?
Yeah.
And they only got it around Christmas time, but it's like no. But yeah, we got. So I got.
You robbed Santa Claus?
No, it was his helper.
Oh.
No, everybody got their stuff back.
Yeah, no.
No, I'm just joking. But yeah, so I had got probation for that in the PIAC program. So that was the first I had to advocate to go with this person every day, all day.
Mm-hmm.
But it was taking us places like skating and stuff. So I ended up finishing that. But I kept getting cases, little cases, petty ones.
Yeah.
Kept throwing them out, dismissing them. My last petty case got me sent to St. Gabe's.
Wow. How long you did up St. Gabe's?
It was 4 months. It was a 4-month program.
Do you think because you was getting away with not really getting found guilty and stuff like that for the juvenile cases that you thought it was it wasn't about nothing?
I don't think it was like that for me.
No.
But I think it's easy for people to think that. But no, that wasn't why I kept doing stuff.
Yeah. It just was mainly the money.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So where we at now? St. Gabe's. You come home from St. Gabe's, and how does that look for you?
Well, I went to St. Gabe's at 16, so I came home at 17. I still kept catching petty cases. But it was petty cases, but I was making a lot of money from it. So it was addictive. Just imagine, all right. Back then I used to steal from Blockbuster, bro.
Dang, Blockbuster. I don't even think they got
They don't got Blockbuster.
no Blockbusters around no more.
Part of the reason why Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore. But no, seriously, I go inside Blockbuster at 12, 13 years old, bro. And say I steal 80 video games, but I'm selling each one of these games for $20 a piece, and they going like that. 100 DVDs, and I might hit 3 stores on one day. But you talking about 12 years old.
Yeah.
So it was the money that was I ain't had to sell drugs. I ain't had to go out there doing nothing too crazy. And I'm looking at I think I was just too smart for my age. It's a retail theft. They ain't gonna do nothing. I don't care.
Right.
But I'm making money as if I'm doing something big. You know what I mean? So that's what really kept me going.
How did your mom feel about this? You
I was
going
good
in and
at
out of
hiding
jail?
shit. When you crafty, when you doing stuff like that, you know how I lie. Plus, like I said, I always was known as a hustler. So it was I'm telling you, I was flipping cars at this age, selling cars at the auction. I'm doing everything the same way I am now. Just this time I don't do nothing illegal. Like I do everything but sell my ass. You know what I mean? Like, and back then, so it was like my mom couldn't keep up because she knew I'd be at the supermarket making money. She knew I'm shoveling snow, cutting grass. She knew that I got all these hustles, so she wouldn't really know.
Yeah. Well, I know she found out though when you had to go to court. She had to pick you up.
She found out a few times, but you know how that go. Mama's boy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so after I came home from the Gabes, I was home for a few months, ended up going back to Vision Quest. I was there for 5 months, got my diploma. So it really wasn't no need for me to be there, so they ended up letting me home. Then probably like a few months from being home, while I was in there, my mom moved up Torresdale.
Okay.
And like I said, I always say it's a difference between a drug dealer and a hustler. Like just because you sell drugs, it don't make you a hustler. But when you put a hustler in a situation, Torresdale, it wasn't really my thing to sell drugs. Like I said, I was just a hustler, so I'm an opportunist. But Torresdale was different at that time. Like it was like you can ball up some tissue and tell a person get you how they gonna buy it. So I got caught up out there selling drugs, ended up catching a case, and they let me out on bail, but mandatory minimums. And I only got caught with like 2.5 grams of crack. They ended up giving me a year upstate. That was my first sentence, and I was 19 at that time.
Hold on, bro. We're gonna slow down a little bit. So, how many cases do you have altogether that you caught from your very first time all the way up to your last
So
sentence?
juvenile, I can't count, bro.
I seen his eyes light up. He said,
No, I know that story.
As far as like
I had that
convictions,
out of me.
he said, no, not convictions. He said, how many cases did you
as
catch?
far as like I don't know.
You don't?
Like, I can't. Adult is not that many, but as juvenile, like is over 10. It's over 15. It's probably. I told you I was catching a lot of like petty joints that they really can't do nothing to you for.
So, what you say about 20?
Yeah, 10 or 20, somewhere in between there.
Dang, how did you feel when you seen all of those arrests?
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you. When I first remember seeing Kashif, I had been assigned for a while as the homicide calendar judge in the Philadelphia Court of Common Pleas, which means that every homicide case in the city that got past a preliminary hearing came next to my courtroom. And it was my job to either prepare those cases for trial, take care of the discovery and pretrial motions if they were going to be jury trials, and send them out to the other judges or in the program. Or in a lot of cases, the cases were going to wind up in my courtroom. Some of them might be discharged on a motion. That was fairly rare, but it happened. But there were a lot of pleas that I took, and then I would be responsible for the sentencing. And I also did a lot of homicide waiver trials, which meant that both the DA and the defense lawyer had to decide they'd rather have me hear the case than a jury.
So that's going head up with the judge, right? That's when people say, I'm going to go head up with the judge.
Yes, yes. And, I never liked having to put people in jail. My background is, I did a little prosecution, but my background is mostly defense. But sometimes the facts and the law just line up in a way that you can't avoid it. And that was the situation in the case where I met Kashif, and I believe that there was actually nothing that the law and the facts would let me do other than give him a state sentence.
Yeah. So
I thought I would never see him again after that, because you don't usually get contacted by the people that you're sending upstate. And if you do get contacted by them, it's often not all that pleasant.
I contacted him a lot. I sent him like 1,000 pills. Like, what's up? 1,000 pill in that drink, my whole sentence. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, no, but I guess I really felt like I wasn't supposed to be found guilty. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes. But it's like, I don't want to get into the case because, you know, I was found guilty and you know what I mean? But still respect. Because it more was like, for me, I felt like I was defending myself. You know what I mean? And for others, it could be a lot of other stuff. But I really felt like he was wrong for finding me guilty. And that's probably more of the reason that brought me to him. You know what I mean? Because the move I'm on now is like, I be watching what's going on out here with these kids. And to me, it's crazy. Like, you see how he said, sometimes it bring you to do this, but a judge can give somebody life and just go drink coffee. Like, it won't matter. Like, and that's what's going on. So that's why I was like, if I'm telling these kids, like, yo, you need to stop doing what y'all doing because this shit get real. But the only way somebody gonna listen to you if you showing and proving. So for them to stop that, the first thing they gotta do is forgiveness.
Yeah, you gotta be the example.
Yeah, you gotta be the example.
Yeah.
We asking kids that might have, like this dude might have killed their cousin or his brother, and you want them to stop. Like, just leave it alone. We ain't got no get back. No, so you gotta show them that you willing to forgive. And you know, ain't nobody killed my brother or nothing. But I felt like this. I was in jail for 11 years. He did me wrong. Like, that's how I felt. So it's like,
How hard was for you to eventually take accountability and have forgiveness for him?
like for real, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, the type of person I am, I don't hold grudges, and I really didn't feel no type of way because, like, it's business. But the visuals and, you know, I try to think of the worst thing that happened to me. I ain't really had too much happen to me. And it's like, for me to show them that I'm willing to forgive somebody because that's what they got to do for us to stop what's going on. But we asking them to forgive somebody, like I said, this person might have killed their brother or killed his cousin. You want the violence to stop, but they like, no, he killed my folks. You ain't never forget nobody that did. So, you know, like.
And what was your sentence?
I had 8 to 16.
8 to 6. Oh, you did 3 years over your minimum?
Yeah, they kept hitting me.
Okay.
They denied me parole 3 times.
Yeah, that's the worst part about that, where they can decide, like the parole board can decide if they're ready to let you home or not. And then it was times people would get hit with, oh, even though you're doing good, you manipulating the system because you're doing too good. And still get a year.
I agree with that. I mean, I have to say that I think that the parole system, the state parole system, is one of the big failures in our criminal justice system, and it has been for a long time. And
It's been the
those
same
of us
since
who
it started.
have tried to do something about that haven't been very successful.
Because, like with parole, like, you better off finding a cure to AIDS than figuring them out. Like, I don't, like,
Yeah.
don't even remind me about parole. They drove me crazy. Like parole ain't no joke. But it's been the same since when it started. When did parole start? In the 60s or something? Like, when that, like, it been the same. And that's why, like, when it come to life, you gotta move with the times. It's like, they said the Prophet Muhammad walked with a sword. Do you think he would walk with a sword today? Like, parole gotta get changed with the times. You know what I mean? And as far as it's designed for setback.
Yeah. Now, for you, what was the determining factor for you to be like, this guy's guilty?
Well, again, I don't want to get too deeply into the facts of the case.
Okay.
And frankly, one of the reasons why is because I don't remember all the facts of the case as I sit here now.
Hundreds of cases.
Yeah.
You don't remember
That is true. But there is some agreement on my part, which is why the sentence was 8 to 16 and not not
And
life.
Life,
And that's
yeah.
what I felt like. He just a fair person, and he felt like he wanted to, like, I don't want to do the family wrong, and I don't want to do him wrong. It could have went this way. It could have went that way.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna do this. That's-
Well,
sometimes you just be too fair. You know what I mean? But no.
the difference is in the law. You know, if you make out a self-defense or even can raise a reasonable doubt that brings you within self-defense, that puts you in line for an acquittal. But not everything that ends in a homicide, even when the victim is partly responsible for what happened, makes out self-defense under our law. And that's why the verdict, instead of a not guilty, was, I think, was it third degree or voluntary?
Voluntary.
Probably voluntary manslaughter, where
Imperfect self-defense.
which is an imperfect self-defense, which is
Real quick, my fault. I know this ain't right, but while we're here, because a lot of people believe that there's no self-defense in Pennsylvania. You got a judge, you know what I mean? It is self-defense in Pennsylvania. That's what I want to say, but my fault.
that's okay. I mean, and that's where we were. In my view, it was a imperfect self-defense that led to a voluntary manslaughter conviction. And here's where the system is really screwed up. If I give somebody, you know, under Pennsylvania law, a state sentence has a minimum and a maximum. And the minimum can be up to 50% of the maximum. The importance is it's the minimum that you got to serve when you're eligible for parole.
Right.
But the judge who may say, if I sentence this guy to 8 years and he gets out, in which he should, at his minimum, he'll only be X number of years old at that point. He has a lot of life to live that way. The parole board can screw that up because the judge doesn't have any control of the sentence between the minimum and the maximum. The judge makes recommendations. The parole board generally doesn't pay any attention to those recommendations.
The state, they don't pay none of that no more.
But the fact that there was a minimum and a maximum and an 8-year minimum was a reflection of the self-defense part of the case, even though I didn't think it was sufficient to avoid a conviction.
Okay.
But to me, that difference that we have, which is completely understandable, makes this story even more amazing.
Yeah.
Because he comes into my courtroom when he's out, not to say you screwed up my life or you did something wrong, but to say, look, I understand that at least in terms of the way you sentenced me, you wanted me to do something with my life, and I decided I want to do something with my life. You know, if somebody comes to a judge and says, I'm just not going to be convicted again, I'm going to turn my life around that way, that's a big deal. But if somebody says, that's not enough for me, I want to spend the rest of my life trying to make the community a better place than it was when I was growing up. And I want to spend my life helping mostly younger folks not make the mistakes I made. And I'm really going to do something about that. And I'd like you to help me with that. Well, I was judged for an awful long time. A lot of people that I had to sentence. I can tell you that that kind of thing does not happen 1% of the time. And then when it turned out that the neighborhood he's going to want to work to make better is the same neighborhood that I grew up in. And it's like, this is meant to be.
Yeah, nothing happens by accident at all.
So
this-
what? At what point did you think that I'm gonna go back and talk to him? Like, was it when you were upstate, when you came home?
So
Do you remember that thought exactly?
everything like I'm doing now in the streets? I got a black book. I know y'all had one. Y'all went through it. Wrote down everything you was gonna do when you came home. So I just was knocking this shit off. But I had to. I always wanted to do the nonprofit, but I really didn't know too much about it. So I just was like, I knew how to do LLC, so I applied for the nonprofit myself. Then I got the 501c back. So I'm like, yo, it's meant everybody was telling me like, yo, it's gonna be like 4 months. If you ain't do this, they not gonna give it to you. But I filled it out myself on the first try. In 2 weeks, I got it with a charitable status. So I'm like, yeah, it's time to go. So I reached out to everybody in the city, bro. Like everybody who on this. Like I was new to social media, so I'm getting on social media. I'm reaching out to everybody. People I know, people I don't know, and it seemed like nobody, like everybody, like yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Well, for help, right?
yeah, and it ain't like you just be looking for money. You know what I mean? Like it ain't even about like I've
Just
been
show me the proper steps to
yeah,
take.
I've been doing this for 3 years and ain't nobody give me no money. Like, and we done did giveaways. Like, you know, we gave out over 1,000 pair of sneakers, 1,000 toys, a STEM lab in a rec center with no money. So it's just about educating or collabing, helping each other. So when I seen that none of my people was helping me, it's like I gotta do something to make somebody pay attention. Cause I know my idea is good. Like, yeah. So I'm like, man. And my idea is to help the youth. And like I said, for me to want them to stop doing what they doing in the street, we gotta lead by example. So if I can't show forgiveness, how can I ask them to? So I was like, I seen something in the paper like judge retiring or working for the mayor or something. It was something that I seen. I'm like, let me ask him, man. He ain't hesitate. You know what I mean?
How'd you approach it? Did you walk in the courtroom?
I emailed him first.
You emailed him?
Yeah, I emailed him first.
You answered?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I had taken a couple of years off when I was a senior judge at this point, and I left the bench for 2 years at the beginning of the Kennedy administration to work as a deputy managing director for criminal justice. I had the rather naive impression that I could make a big difference in that administration in terms of criminal justice reform. That was not exactly my experience, but we'll pass on that. And I went back to when I had a couple of years left before I reached mandatory retirement age for a senior judge, so I was able to go back on the bench, and that was around the time that I heard from Kashif, and we met up, and he told me what he wanted to do, and we talked about the neighborhood a little bit, and I already had some idea from the time I'd spent in the mayor's office that there were people who were trying to bring back Feltonville to be the kind of place where you could raise a family and kids could grow up, and there was something else beside the streets for them. And here's somebody who really has much more recent experience with the neighborhood than I do. And if there's anything at all that I can do to help him, I'm going to be there.
So you're out there passing the toys out and everything with them.
I've been out there on a rainy day at the recreation center field and inside watching him in a Santa Claus suit and watching. I'm telling you, he's a natural. Watching the light in these kids' eyes and in their moms and some of their dads' eyes, and thinking if 10% of the people who got in trouble when they were younger wound up doing this, we would be in a hell of a lot better shape
Yeah.
than we are now.
What's the name of y'all nonprofit?
Relentless Community Development.
Okay. All right. Who came up with the name? You did?
Relentless.
Oh, yeah.
And he is relentless.
Yeah.
like I was telling you, I just be doing a lot. So like really to get the organization off. I had a clothing line while I was locked up. Like I came up with the idea, which is modern language. Like that's where most of the people know me from today. Like so I end up being a content creator now by mistake, just out of hunger. You know what I mean? I wanted to sell these clothes I got, and I knew like the only way I'm gonna be able to sell them is to get on camera, on social media. So I started making skits, but everybody just be focused on me saying modern language when I'm trying to tell you like, yo, I'm selling these clothes so I can do something in the community. Like, but yeah, sometimes it get frustrating, but the content creating is the therapy too. I like it. Like, you know how it was up top. Like we got through most of it bidding. And I love so that's why I do all day and it work. So you might catch me one day real serious, you know what I mean? Kashif, Relentless, or modern language.
Yeah.
But since I've been on this, like, it's been like different. You know, I done had a job in city council, still on parole in my own office, city card, everything, email. Like,
Who office did you work for?
I work for the legendary Councilwoman Sharon Vaughn. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me not have said her name on this interview. Yeah, we were in trouble. But no, I respect her a lot because, you know, she from the hood, but she ain't been in the hood in a minute. But she knew where I'm from. And she like, no, come on down here with me. Like, you belong down here. And I'm like, I belong where? City Hall? Like, I belong on these. But it definitely was a good experience. Like, I promise you, wearing the suit every day, like, it felt good. Like, I was in briefings with Krasner, giving him pointers. Got the, you know, it made me feel professional. But my whole thing is, you know, I'm for the kids, bro. Like, I'm trying. I got some plans.
Okay. And do y'all have a? Oh, my fault, friend. You want to go?
Good.
Do y'all have a specific like target market that y'all trying to reach? Like we're trying to reach, give back to like 10,000 kids, or
So for the judge, he really more on that reentry.
Okay.
I noticed that. So like with the Relentless, I got like 8 different trees when you see the logo.
so reentry, you meaning like juvenile delinquents and stuff like that?
Both juvenile and adult reentry.
Okay.
That was one of the things that I thought we could really improve on when I left the bench to go work for the city. And although there are a few people and a few organizations who I think were really making an effort, the city's philosophy, for instance, for local reentry, coming back from up on State Road, was to have the reentry program basically supervised by the people who were running the prison, which to me didn't make very much sense at all in terms of getting the confidence of the people who you were trying to work with. And on the other hand, I see in the federal government, they have an incredibly active reentry program in this in the Eastern District for people coming out of the federal prison system.
Yeah.
And
What do you think the difference is?
well, I mean, you could say, and some people would say, that the difference is they have more resources. But I don't think that's the case. I think the difference is that there are a couple of judges over there, one of whom happens to be an ex-public defender who I hired, who's a good friend of mine, who are really serious about reentry program. It's not just that they put their name to it. they spend their time on it, and they make sure that there are programs that are up and running, that people coming back have somebody who they can talk to, who will point them in the right direction, who will not be there like some probation people and some judges are saying, I'm just waiting for you to fuck up. Excuse me, I guess I shouldn't say that.
No,
You're
you
good.
can
I
curse.
apologize.
You're good.
But,
can curse.
I'm just waiting for you to screw up, because then you're off my caseload and you're back in custody again.
Yeah.
I feel like for reentry, and I might have said it on a different episode too, I feel like for reentry, you need people that went through that experience, that made it past that experience, not someone that's never been through your circumstances or come from the area you come from, kind of telling you what to do. You need to lead by example. So if it's like, people like us that went through the worst and now we're on the right path, like we need to get in front of these people's faces so this way they can see the possibilities, not just some guy in a polo shirt telling you where to go, when to go there, and how to live your life.
Think about how it was when you was younger. Though.
I think that's 100% right.
Because they can't relate. Like you can't relate to somebody that like had. You're telling me one thing, but it's
Have you ever went through it?
exactly.
No, I get it.
That's like them telling us to be parole officers.
I feel like I gamble enough at life, so that's why I focus on the youth. I feel like the numbers stronger on it's easier for somebody younger to change than I came home from prison, so it was either 50-50 when I came home. Either I was going to do the right thing or I wasn't. I mean, with the kids, I think we can influence. Like they even acting crazy because of the influence. So if you spent it and made it thorough, they act better. If some of the people that really got the influence said, "Look, it's better if you do that." That's all society is now. It's way worse than when we
And
was
they
younger.
need to see the proof though too.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna tell me to like do good or don't commit crimes and you're gonna live a good life, but you don't even have a good life. Why would I listen to you?
Yeah, you ain't telling me nothing. I go through that every day. I can tell you all my ideas, but you ain't got no money, so you can't tell me nothing. That's how a person act. So yeah, like you definitely gotta like lead by example and the numbers.
I think, Frank, one of the things that makes what you just said so important is that people are going to make mistakes when they come out. People are not going to come out and do, and do perfectly just because you're on probation, you're on parole. And if you have somebody who's been through that too and who understands not every mistake ought to be a fatality in terms of your continued life on the streets, or somebody who's even had those problems and surmounted them, that person is going to be a lot more persuasive, it seems to me, to the audience that you're trying to reach. I think we haven't done a very good job of that in the city of Philadelphia. Not nearly as good a job as we could.
Spark said it the best. I don't blame you, young blood. I blame the old head.
Yeah. So do you think the city should be trying to develop some type of programming for guys like ourselves to get them when they come out, or maybe even before, kind of prep them, get a budget together? We
You
would
know
like
exactly what
Yes.
we need. You know what I mean? Like real, but it ain't gonna be the city that do it. It gotta be one of us, and that's why I was saying, like, for me, you really gotta go on what you on. Me, I'm more focused, and I feel like the numbers better with the kids. Like I feel like I could convince a kid, like it ain't too late. Go ahead. Adult, I don't really get along with myself that much as far as being an adult. So it's like, you either gonna do this or you not, cause that's how it was.
Are you
for me.
saying like basically you can't teach a no dog new
No,
tricks?
I ain't saying that.
Or
I'm
you
just saying
just
I'm
the
not
focus?
no teacher. You know what I mean? Like you really gotta be on what you like. As far as like, I just feel like when you adult, like for me, when I came home from prison this evening,
How old were you when you came home?
I was 33.
33?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went in at 22.
Okay.
But I came home at 33, and it was like, either I'm going to do the right thing or I'm not. You already had your mind made up. Like, it ain't, like, it's you can be convinced as an adult, but I already
It's harder.
I already had it figured out, bro. Like, I already knew what I was going to do when I came home. It wasn't nothing nobody, like, even to this day, like, but when I talk to the kids, like, I can see it. Like, they already looking for another route. So it's like, come on, let's catch them while they're young.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about it because we ain't got too much longer, and they gonna have the ball soon.
Yeah.
I want to pick up on something that you said. A good reentry program involves starting with people while they're still locked up. It involves the kind of people who you're talking about, who have been there before, who have done that, and who have decided they not only want to make a difference in their own lives, they want to make a difference in other people's lives, and they've got to be welcomed into the institutions to run programs, or at least co-run programs that will actually help people, teach them some skills that they need when they get out, so that those people, when they get out, will be seeing the same people in the post-prison part of their rehabilitation. And that was one of the things we were trying to develop in the 2 years that I was in the mayor's office. But the higher-ups in the administration didn't support that. I think that's one of the reasons why we don't have better results from our reentry program, because we don't start them with the right people at the right time before people are walking out the door.
See, a good thing would, if these guys can get a mentor before they even come home that came out of prison and successfully, Lil just walked off parole. I'm off parole in March. No conflicts, no type of violations, nothing. You didn't have any either, right?
I'm max out next month.
So yeah, 3 guys right here. I max out in March. That done it, right? So it's possible. So now you know it's possible, because a lot of the time it's like they set you up with parole or probation to fail. Well, if you do the right thing, you're not going to fail. You got 3 examples right here. And then on top of that, what are things that we've done since we came home to like keep ourselves occupied, stay out of trouble, deal with conflict if it comes up? What do we do for money so we're not doing things for money? What environments did we hang out around? So you can have the parole board try to make that up and see how that goes, or you can have guys like ourselves that been through it, lived it, succeeded with it, and collaborate.
It's gonna have to be us.
Facts.
No, that's how. That's what the organization for real, for real. Y'all got the name for it. Streets to Success. You know what I mean? Like, it's always good to have a nonprofit when you got a business. Just always remember that. You know what I mean? And a nonprofit should be geared towards something you feel passionate about. Not saying like I'm not passionate about it because I had to go through it. It's just that I feel like a lot of people play chess. You know what I mean? And chess a good analogy game, but not for me, because I go off times. Chess was made in 6 AD? It's 2024, bro. Like, I want to play Sims, stuff that's like, you know what I mean? You can create, like, and that's what's going on. I like to move with the time. These kids, this technology, I feel like the social media world, like, can make a lot of people, like, money that never had it, and they just got to be prepared when they get it. So that's mainly my focus, like, diversion tactics with the kids, like, meaning, like, a lot of them using the social media for bad, but if I could show you how to use it for good and get rich off of it, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's my focus. I really want to like uplift the youth. Like,
So how, like, as far as like tackling that problem, because you mentioned earlier in the interview that when we grew up, a lot of times we got into streets due to lack of resources or lack of money. Man was like kind of it's that's part of the problem, but it's more so of recognition.
attention.
Like get the attention. Like so,
That's
how do
why
you?
go hire the best help?
Okay.
Like I said, I know how to go at it for the way it was for me for being broke. That's why I do like side hustle workshops showing him how to get money. But for him, he focused on the reentry. Let's hire the best help. Collaboration bring elevation. If that's what you want, we still can come together. But why I need to learn how to do it if you doing it? You feel me? So I focus on the youth. You like the reentry part. I'm here for you, but you focus on that. When we need to come together, we get together. You want what you want. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, it goes together though still because like you're trying to catch them before they get to like a point of incarceration. They slip through your cracks.
He's
wants,
that's what I'm
exactly,
saying.
yeah.
Is
Well, that has a lot to do with, what I did for a living for so long. I was my responsibility to try these cases and take these pleas and impose sentences. I did not want the people who were being sentenced to be forgotten about because
That's rare.
the majority of the people that you're sentencing, and the younger they are, the truer this is. Their lives should not be over. They should not have to feel that this is the end for me, because not only am I going to do this sentence, but I'm always going to be a loser in the eyes of society when I get out.
Yeah, it's the stigma to it. It's because it happens a lot, and then people talk about it a lot. Of it's a revolving door, or you can't do nothing if you have a felon on your record, and so on and so forth. But ultimately, like if you switch your mindset, or if we can switch these guys' mindsets, like this is just a rebirth. This is a fresh. Like I came home with no habits. I came home with no distractions. Like that's why I got to where I was at to where I'm at now so quick. People are like, oh, I came home like a baby again. Like with just more knowledge. I didn't have the vices holding me back. I didn't have the people holding me back. So like if you look at it as a new beginning rather than your end, the beginning of the end, that's what they need to see though. They need to see possibilities.
Right.
I got through my time by daydreaming. Like I just daydreamed my whole bid.
Me too.
Like I was living a life in my mind. Like I'm talking about from when I got dressed in the morning, it got so crazy that I convinced myself that I was already doing stuff before I got home. So by the time I got home, it felt like I already was doing it.
Yeah.
So like most people that came across me didn't even know I did that much time. Like I didn't. That was my fight the whole bid. I did not want to be institutionalized. Ask him. They asked me, was I like when I used to walk the walk? They be like, "Yo, what's up, Chief? You alright?" Fuck no, I ain't alright. Like that was my tagline in jail. Like everybody asked me, "You alright, bro?" Fuck no, I ain't alright. But it was me mentally telling myself I'm not being institutionalized. I'm not going home fucked up, bro. I'm going home and make it happen. So that's how I really got through it. I just was like, at first I was angry. Like I ain't gonna lie. I think about going to jail. And no matter how you put it, 6 people come at me. They got guns. Like George Zimmerman. Like right after that. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that case.
Like that
happened,
case.
yeah.
Like this dude ain't even had no gun. So, and I'm still young and I'm in state. I'm mad. I'm angry. Like, I only was supposed to be felt guilty of a gun. I need to be home. I still got 5 more years left. So it was like, then when it hit me, like, you ain't going home. You better get it together. That's when I just chilled.
Acceptance. That's huge in there. Accepting it and then
I
moving
just
forward.
got in the library and was just every day. Like,
Yeah.
read on people's door for books and magazines. That's it.
What was your biggest fear while you were incarcerated, bro?
Coming home being crazy, bro. Like real.
You know what I always thought about? My biggest fear was not making it home. I seen so many people die from heart attacks, all different types of stuff. I just always used to pray, like, man, don't let me die here.
I promise you, like, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Like, even when I was down the county fighting this case, I always had it in my mind, like, this ain't the end of my chapter.
Right.
I was in a law library. Like, I used to argue with boys over that self-defense ain't, like, and I went to trial. I was found guilty of manslaughter. I ain't telling nobody. I wasn't up there on no faggot. Take that out, my fault, bro.
Yeah, you good.
What time is
I wasn't up there on no,
it? Yeah.
you know what I mean? I wasn't up there on no, you know, playing with, doing stuff I wasn't supposed to. I wasn't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, calling home crying. I just did my time, came home, and got on this, and that's what it is. Like,
So where do y'all see this nonprofit going in the next 5 years?
so
How big do you see it getting? Like
heard
it's
of the
like
YMCA?
absolutely. Yeah.
Relentless.
Yeah.
I say that because, like, when the YMCA came out, it was like new. It was like, wow, this amazing. You can go everywhere. But my idea, like, it's just, all right. So when I was younger, I used to stay outside, running around, and my mom would be like, "Won't you bring your ass in the house and read a book?" That's what we did when we was younger, and I'm looking at my mom. That's what you did. Well, this what we on. Well, what we doing? We telling our kids, get off that tablet, go outside and play. And they're like, that's what y'all did. This what we on. So you gotta meet them there. You can't push them away from them because it ain't going. So I got an idea for what I call content center, creative content center. So it's like, imagine like a big space, and each room in this space is just something different. No matter what, like, it can be a car garage, a hair salon, podcast stations, green screen, recording studio, gamer studio. This room look like whatever, like just different places. Each one of these rooms got its own camera, lighting, equipment, whatever they need. They can just come in there, create content, upload
That's smart.
it, and keep it pushing. And that's
It's crazy, real quick, bro, because what was kinda equivalent to that in our time, and that's not around no more.
you know what I mean, the arcades,
The POW centers.
the POW.
You rarely see any POW centers anymore.
But you heard what I said, the YMCA.
Yeah, the Y. Yeah.
It was so like it was ahead of its time. You can go somewhere, go swimming, work out in the gym, whatever. But you gotta think about it. And Mac brought this up to me a while ago, and he probably don't even remember telling me this, but I'm gonna give him his credit. He said, "Dog, think about when we ride downtown. All them stores right before we get downtown, they all like successful stores, but don't nobody know what these stores are. That's because they ain't on social media. You know what I mean? So them jobs right there for the kids. Because I like everything I do, like I research it, I do something. I'm doing it now. I go to businesses just for the fun of like, look, I see y'all now on social media, but I'll run your joint. I'll do promotion for 90 days. If you start making money, you gonna pay me? We can work something out, but I don't got time to do it. But it's just research for me because I know, just like you said, all these players, ain't nobody keeping up with time. That's jobs. That's money for these kids. Like I said, I go at it the way that I know. Now, for people who go to the streets for lack of attention, I need to find somebody or get somebody on the squad that know that route. Because I ain't trying to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of the things I've read in every business book, and I read a lot of them, and they all the same. Always hire the best help. Like, you know what I mean? You ain't got to be the one to do it all. If I know how to fix houses and you know how to fix cars, bro, ain't no need for me to learn how to fix cars. I'm going to fix your house, you going to fix my car. You know what I mean? Like, and that ain't the way it work. like I keep trying to push collaboration equals elevation. Like I said, I got a clothing line. I could send my stuff to people with clothing lines. They might hesitate to post it because they got a clothing line. But meanwhile, look at these boots I got. They Jimmy Choo and Timberlands. They collab.
Yeah.
And they made $100 million off these boots just off the black community. So like, how is you not knowing that collaboration bring elevation? And everything to this day, when you get on the phone, look what Instagram just did. They put that feature on there, collaborate. If you notice, it was only one person who collaborated. Now it's 5. That's what wins, bro. And it's just sad because Philly is really the main city that's like that, bro.
Crab in the barrel.
Crab in the barrel. Everywhere you go, even when it comes to the content, look on social media. All the people from Atlanta, they together. They ain't trying to charge each other. They ain't saying, yeah, I need $300 for you to be in my in this skit. No.
But you know what it is too? I think, bro, it's lack of resources as well in the city for people who are already home. People lack resources, so when they do have an opportunity, they want to just hold it to themselves instead of spreading it
But you gotta understand,
not realizing that it will expand and help you out. If
that's something that was like put on us like back then, dog, to hold us back because it ain't no way, bro. I could tell you all my ideas, go do them. You feel me? It don't matter. How many people make microphones, bro? When we walk outside, how many different brands of them cars outside? But it was only one person that started it. You see what I'm saying? Don't matter. Think about the person who invented the phone, bro. He started from scratch. Like, he ain't had nowhere to start from. Now we got this. And all they did was just keep adding on to it, adding on to it, adding on to it. Now we can run our whole life with this. So it ain't nothing about holding nothing back. That's what happened when these people made
that's
social
people
media.
mindsets, though, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
People mindsets.
We was
are like
brainwashed that way somewhere in the past to keep us back, to hold us down. It was created, bro.
It's like if I give something up that's less for me, that's how they think.
bro, it's
That's
8
right.
billion people in the world.
That's
Look, let's do a project. Real
we
quick.
see a lot of that.
Go to your Explore page, right, on Instagram. You go to your Explore page, click on a picture of somebody that you don't know.
That's somebody I don't know.
Yeah, just click on their page.
A picture or a reel, don't matter.
It don't matter.
Here's a word of the day. Do not mess with people who are
You don't know her?
Yeah,
You know her?
I think I do. I don't know her name though. I know she's a celebrity.
You don't know her. Because he would have, if he knew her, he would know her. But look how many followers she got.
Yeah.
It's enough for everybody, bro. It's 8 billion people in this world. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Well, I
don't
think-
matter. It's like,
I think one of the problems is that I think you mentioned it, that people are afraid if I try to spread out or if I try, I'll be giving up something of that I control. And I mean, you have a lot of people in a lot of neighborhoods trying to do on a small level what Kashif is trying to do in his neighborhood. If there were some real effort to really bring these groups together so people would know what, hey, he's got a pretty good idea. Maybe we should try this here. Or we got a pretty good idea. Maybe somebody else would like to try it in their neighborhood. I think you would, first you raise the level of community support and effectiveness, and also you would have a much stronger case to make to the extent that you do need some resources and some government help and some government financing, you'd have a much stronger case to make. Otherwise, what you have are a lot of little separate organizations, some of which have a particular political sponsor, some of which don't. but who are all acting as if this was a competition rather than a cooperation
Yeah.
or a collaboration.
That's the crazy part. 'Cause
Competition,
like I
that's what
said,
it is. People
that's
look
all
at
I
it.
was hearing about social media when I came home. Yo, like you gotta have followers, you gotta do this. So I'm like, all right, I understand that. But when I'm on this community shit, I'm like, we all on the same thing. I know they ain't on that. They worse than the ones that's like they worse than them. You hear me? Like they sassy, bougie, all that. Like, and don't get me wrong. Like I said, I worked in city council. I know a lot of people, bro. Like, and I network. Like that's what I do. But I don't feel like I need to use that. Like, if y'all not with it, then don't be with it. Like, it's gonna happen. It's just like, bro, think about social media, man. The people who made it, it's the Mavericks. You see how it's like, yo, you can't, I'm gonna hold this information. They can't do that too much longer, bro.
Yeah, and that's the
Social
best thing
media
about
kill
it.
all that.
I think also, bro. Once whoever it is, I'm not saying you. I could say me. Once I realized that nobody can stop me or hold me back from the goal that I'm trying to accomplish, then it's over. Nobody can control the internet and who can view your stuff.
Exactly.
Once it catch on fire, it's a wrap. So I think back then and years before technology started to progress the way it is now, it was over, bro. Like,
Everybody do me a favor if you didn't, bro. Watch it. And even if you did, watch it again. Watch that movie, the Facebook movie. Watch it with this light now.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Watch it. You
Yeah.
gotta think about when the cameo, when Justin Timberlake came in there, and he was the dude who made what was the name of that, Napster?
yeah,
He was him on there, but he was giving him the game. Why you think he did that to Napster? He knew that they was robbing the musicians and the artists. He did that purposely to mess up the industry because he felt like, and that's what they did with social media.
The
because of
same
what?
thing.
Hollywood. What's
Now,
going on?
now it's really people look at it like it's a gatekeeper that's keeping you from certain. It's like no, now it's
Social media
over.
killed
You
that.
got the internet now.
Social-
Anybody
Look at
is
Cat
laying eyes
Williams.
on your
How
stuff.
long Cat Williams been saying like, yo, man, they ain't right.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But nobody listen to him because they not letting him get it off. Like,
Yeah.
how he gonna get that off on a big network that's ran by the same people he talking about?
yeah.
But as soon as he got on that podcast and said it, what happened? You know what I mean? Now, like, people want to apologize to him. I want to apologize to him. I thought he was a crackhead. Like, that's the
You
way
thought he was losing his mind.
that's how they was putting him out there on the news and stuff.
The internet and social media really gives you freedom of speech.
Exactly.
Because there's, you know, they blackball these TV networks, news, like they're going to put what they want to put in front
And
of
that's
people.
what I'm trying to tell people now. That's why you don't need to worry about being, oh, his success gonna stop mines or
Yeah.
it don't matter, bro. You
That's
can
like
keep
saying-
going on that Explore page. I promise you, it's people with millions of followers that you don't know.
See, that's what people do though. They if they really think that, then that sucks because that's going to stop them. Because it don't matter what anyone else is doing anyway. Just keep doing what you're doing.
But that's how we was bred, bro. I feel like
The whole time it'd be our faults because we don't want to be consistent in the work that we're doing.
do y'all understand?
Or are
that
you
it's
really looking? You're
places-
really looking for a handout?
That-
Like,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
want it that
what it-
easy anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know that there's places that got prisons that's empty? Like
Yeah,
No,
like the
not-
Netherlands and
not
stuff
in
like
the
that.
United
Not in the
States.
U.S.
it don't matter where it's at. It just show you that it's possible. Now I ain't saying like we can make that happen, but who teach a kid how to lie? You feel me? It's just natural because we was bred. Now, if it's a place where like if like the word dicky is be used a lot, right? If I didn't have to know who you was to support you, a lot more people would be successful. You feel me? Like if I just knew you fix cars and I didn't have to know like, yo, he on social media saying he fix cars and you feel me? If I just needed a t-shirt and I didn't have to have this t-shirt say polo, I would like the people without the polo shirts. And that's all I'm saying. People just really need to understand that collaboration. They got us beat.
Yeah.
Like, that's why they keep kicking our ass. You heard what he said? I got a good friend. He's a judge. That's what I learned down City Hall, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You help me with this, I'm gonna help you
They
with
all
that.
sit together,
We
yeah.
gonna eat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where they got us beat, bro. I'm telling you, is that unity. It's like when we go to jail. You see how them pop, you stick together, and all of them good in there. None of them don't need no flip flops. None of them need socks. None of them need nothing.
That's our problem. If a
collaborate.
black guy comes through, everybody's laughing at
Judging them.
people,
yeah.
laughing at him, judging him. Oh, he get high out there. Spanish guy come through. Everybody get
Don't matter.
together,
It don't
put a
matter,
bag together for him
Could
here.
have been stealing
Yeah.
his mom furniture, bro.
Yeah.
And they gonna make sure he right.
Yeah.
And that's where we and it ain't too much of a race thing in my opinion, bro. It's a
That was an
class
example, though. Yeah.
thing. No, I know. I was just saying it so because we talking amongst each other. We know each other, but we on the podcast.
Yeah,
It's
right,
going
right,
global.
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gotta be like it's more of a class thing, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's whether you got it or you don't.
Yeah.
And we ain't got too much time to be broke, bro. We gotta get this money fast because it's about to get bad. It's about to get bad.
Seriously.
Ask the finance guy.
So, where can people find you guys at? Is there a website? Do you have a social media for your nonprofit?
And for me, all they gotta do is just hit the number in the captions. No, it's Relentless Community Development.org, and the social media is relentless_CDORG.
Okay. And that's for both of y'all nonprofit.
They can get to me through.
You know, you gotta get that shield up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Get
gotta
there.
come through me before you get to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, we appreciate you. Is there anything else you want to throw in there before we wrap this up?
Can I ask you one question? I wanted to ask you this. How many people do you think that you've seen in court since you became a judge?
Oh my!
You
What,
know,
after or just in general?
just in
it
general.
Came across his,
Just came across.
many?
How many you think?
It took me about
Some-
5 months to remember my case a little
Yeah.
bit, so we had to go read about it.
Number in the thousands.
In the thousands? Like what? Like the double digit thousands?
At least
Wow.
I think.
yeah.
Okay.
I think.
And I got one more question too. Then, since we're at it, now, why did you decide to go head up with the judge and the jury when you picked?
I wanted you to ask me that earlier too. So at the time, I had this lawyer, right? And you heard how he said he was more on the defense. So you know how it is in the jails. They talk about the judge. No, this judge a dickhead. This judge good. This judge fair. So they used to have a nickname for him called "Let Him Go Lerner" in the jails. Like they used to call him "Let Him Go."
Because he was fair.
So the lawyer I had, he was like, he said, listen, you know how juries is. He said, with this case, is you either gonna be found not guilty, guilty. No, he said if you go with the jury, it's gonna be either first, third manslaughter or not guilty. He said if you go head up with this judge, it's gonna be manslaughter or not guilty. He not finding you guilty of murder on this case. So it's like, but
That was
retrospect.
good advice.
No, like so it was like
I forgot who represented you.
Michael Wallace.
Oh right.
He got caught up.
Well, Michael Wallace had been a judge, and he
got in
got
trouble.
caught up in a. You remember the what they call the roofer scandal? Bunch of judges were being favored by the roofers union with Christmas gifts, which sometimes was just a wad of money in an envelope.
Wow.
And that all got blown up, and several people, including Mike Wallace, who actually was a pretty damn good judge, had to leave the bench. And a lot of them never were bitter about it, never recovered from it. Mike Wallace said, well, I can still practice law, and I'm not going to stand around crying about the injustice of this. We we did something we shouldn't have done. And maybe I think the punishment's too harsh, but that's the way it is. And he made himself into a really, well, he had been before, but he went back and had a very, very successful career as a defense lawyer. But one advantage that he had over a lot of lawyers is
He knew the judges.
he knew the judges, and he knew how different judges thought because he had spent time talking with judges as one of them.
Lunch, probably, stuff like that.
Oh, but that was his advice to me. But I'm not even gonna lie. If I went through it again, I would have went with a jury. I don't feel like 12 people would have found me guilty.
So, let me get this straight. So you regret going through this whole
No, I don't
process?
regret.
All right. I just had to say that for the record. But
I just said if we went, if I was there again, and it's like, I would pick a jury.
I'll say that is everybody's defendant's right. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do.
Don't he
But
sound
I'm
like you're
afraid
the bitch now? That's what he
if
was
you had
saying.
done that, you would have seen how right Michael Wallace was.
yo, this
He
is
told
a
you for a
great
reason,
episode,
right?
man.
That's what he told me though, real shit.
Yep.
He told me, he said,
Yep.
listen, he said, this judge not gonna find you guilty of no murder. So is he gonna be manslaughter or not guilty? So you telling me,
And if you have 12, if you pick 12, then you get the maximum sentence if you're found guilty.
yeah, if I
Well,
would've-
if they find you guilty of murder, there's only one. It's
Yeah.
not a death case, so there's only one sentence, and that's life
Life, yeah.
without parole. If they find you guilty of third, you start with a mandatory minimum of 5 years, but it goes up from there. And
So whatever,
I think
yeah.
nobody giving out 5 years for thirds no more.
Right.
Unless it was
That's-
with a
that's
knife or
right.
something. back in
that's
the day.
right.
I got 6 to 12 for the manslaughter, but it started off as a murder and an attempted murder.
Okay.
So I got 6 to 12. I got found guilty instead of murder. It was manslaughter. And for the attempted murder, aggravated assault. So I got 6 to 12 for the manslaughter.
2 to 4.
for
And he ran them
Yeah, he ran
Ran
that
'em-
shit wild.
consecutive instead of consistent.
Two victims.
Why you run them together?
If I
You can't remember why.
if I could honestly
had-
remember, I would tell you. But I suspect it was because it was
The
two different
severity of the
victims.
case.
Uh,
Oh, okay.
No, it was
You gonna feel this.
because it's 2 victims. But yeah, it was 3 to 6 for the gun, 6 to 12 for the manslaughter.
ran together.
They ran together.
Yeah.
Aggravated assault ran
Yeah.
wild.
Wow.
2 to 4.
Okay.
But you could see, like, most of the cases that was coming out of his case at that time that was manslaughters, they was getting you to 16. So I kind of already knew.
Yeah.
Like, what I already knew. They kind of stick to the script when you watch it.
No, we appreciate your time.
Real quick though, one more thing. I want both of y'all to give some advice to any kid that's out there, an adult, somebody that's re-entering back into
Yeah, so I
society.
would say if you want to give, I'm sorry to cut you off, but he could give
he was trying
kids-
to end it, and now he want to cut me
No,
off.
'cause that's a good way to end it because he could give advice for the kids since that's what he's targeting,
Uh-huh.
and he could give advice to the reentry.
No, you can give advice from what you've been through, and you can give advice from basically your perspective from the bench. All right. So yeah, just
So for me, like, my biggest advice is just do it, bro. Like I read this one book. Damn, guess who gave me the book? Man.
yeah. Matt used to have. I think I still got one of your books from
He
upstate.
gave me the Think and Grow Rich, the
Yeah.
Black Choice Edition one. That book changed my life. Like, it's just, you vision it and you do it. That's it. And if you ain't gonna just do it, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. And that's my, like, whatever it is, like, even when I talk to the kids, like, I never, like, tell them not what to do, like, what to do. I just tell them what could happen from what they doing.
Yeah.
And, like, if you gonna do the wrong thing, strategize, be your best at doing the wrong. It's just be your best at doing whatever you want to do. And for me, I gave my all to this. Like, and that's that's all I can say. It's going to work long as you keep doing it. Like, it's like if I just knock on this table right now, these soft knocks ain't gonna do nothing. Let me knock on this table for a year straight like that. It'll melt. You feel me? So it's like,
Do I
that's
get
how
to
feel.
give my advice?
You try to start what they do. I ain't arguing with you no more. They got enough in the courtroom, nigga.
I have two pieces of advice. One is try to find somebody, even if it's just one person, who you can trust to have your best interests at heart and who will not be judgmental, but who will be there to give you, listen to you, be a sounding board, give you advice. And the other thing is don't ever believe that your life is in somebody else's control. No matter what people say about, well, the system's all unfair, or this is wrong, or that's wrong, you have the rest of your life in your hands, and you can make of it whatever you really want to make of it.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate the success.